Whoop-de-doo! What does it all mean?
As far as movies go, and the propaganda that might be coming from the government, what movie to you stands out as something that's extremely propagandish?
Propagandish, okay. So the Transformers franchise is a very interesting one, beginning in 2007, which was fully supported by every branch of the US military, really. And it's an interesting one because the narrative that goes across those movies is fully in line with the narrative that was sown, or started to have been sown in the early 1980s by disinformation operatives, which put across an image of the US government or quasi-governmental entities having full knowledge and understanding of the UFO enigma and access to technologies and reverse engineering, which is something that's now part of the UFO mythology. That was actually engineered into the mythology by government operatives in the early 1980s, strangely. This was documented in a book called Mirage Men by Martin Pilkington. And what's interesting is that the newer movies that are coming out about UFOs, which are supported by the Department of Defense, they all sort of reinforce that narrative. And basically there's a very laboured scene in the first Transformers movie where you have the Secretary of Defense, played by John Voight, first learning of the fact that a quasi-governmental agency called Sector 7, which is clearly modelled on Majestic 12, have been keeping the secrets about alien entities and interactions with humanity out of the reach of the President and out of the reach of the Department of Defense itself. So what's been happening is it puts across the message of the US government itself and military itself is not complicit in a cover-up. Rather, a quasi-governmental illegal entity has been sort of overseeing this and keeping this knowledge from the actual power structure. And you have a really laboured scene in that movie where John Voight comes into this room and he's like, "Oh my God, you should have told, you didn't think to tell me about this. I'm the Secretary of Defense. I need to know." And what's interesting is that these scripts are all vetted and tweaked quite extensively by Department of Defense staffers. Okay, so when the movie producers enter into these agreements with the Department of Defense, they literally sign a contract which gives the Pentagon extreme access to these productions, from conception through to production and post-production and even marketing as well. So what you have is a constant stream of staffers going through these scripts at every stage, and if there's something in there that can be tweaked to enhance the image of the Department of Defense or the power structures, or if there's something in there which is a little bit sensitive, which needs to be tweaked, then they can do that, and that's the nature of the relationship.
It's as long as they get the final word before it gets to press or to get to distribution.
That's right.
Do you know who else works at Sector 7?
Sector 7?
Yeah. Well, technically Sector 7G. It's Homer Simpson.
Oh, okay, right. There we go.
One of the carbon blobs from Sector 7G.
So it's kind of funny that maybe there's some kind of connection there. Who knows?
Maybe.
Right.
So, do you yourself, you are talking about all these other films, but what is your favorite film?
My favorite film, it's hard to break away from Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Spielberg's 1977 movie. I absolutely love it. It's a great film, in any genre, and it's just Spielberg's passion for the subject just infuses every frame. It's actually quite a messy movie. It doesn't make an awful lot of sense when you sort of really break it down. There's a lot of plot holes, but it's infused with passion, and it's to my mind one of Spielberg's best films.
And the panel did have the question of Spielberg being a misinformer, an insider, maybe doing some misinformation with his movies. What's your thoughts on that?
I don't think so. I think that I put out the idea that perhaps Spielberg may have had some private conversations with people like Bill Clinton, who may or may not have sort of confirmed some basic facts about UFOs to him, assuming Clinton has those, and I think Clinton has some knowledge. But given the fact that Spielberg and Clinton are good friends, I think it's quite likely that they'll have had a conversation about it. It doesn't mean that he knows an awful lot, but I think he'll have probably had some kind of acknowledgement from Clinton. But no, Spielberg has been obsessed with the subject since he was a teenager, a little kid really, and so the movies that he produces and directs on UFOs are really just, they're just him exercising his passion.
Right.
Awesome.
Well, thanks, Robbie. I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
That movie has warped my fragile little mind.